My name is Myra Spencer, and for 6 years, I was the broken one. I'm a trauma surgeon. I've saved lives at 3 a.m. with steady hands, but my own life was a wreckage of someone else's lies. It started in the hallway of the hospital. My ex-mother-in-law, Carol Bishop, spotted me. She didn't just pass by, she stopped, smiled that poisonous smile of hers, and said loud enough for the nurses to hear, "Leaving you was the best decision my son ever made. Now he has a baby boy with your best friend." Most people would have cried. I didn't. I looked at her, calm as a flatline, and asked, "Is that what you believe?" I knew something she didn't. A few minutes later, a man walked through those doors, a man who would shatter the Bishop. Family's perfect, lying world forever. I married Mark Bishop when I was 28. He was charming, the kind of man who made everyone feel chosen. But when we couldn't conceive, the silence in our house became a weapon. Mark refused to see a doctor. "Bishop men don't have those problems," he'd say, dismissive and sharp. Slowly, the narrative shifted. It started with Carol. A sympathetic sigh at a church potluck. A lowered voice. Poor Mark. He wanted children so badly, but Myra, well, some women just aren't built for it. And Paige, my best friend since high school, she was the one holding my hand while I cried, telling me, "You don't need a child to be whole, Myra." All while she was calculating exactly how to take my place. People don't steal your life all at once. They borrow it piece by piece, until you look up and realize you're a stranger in your own home. The divorce was finalized on a Tuesday. By Friday, Mark was living with Paige. The story they told was tidy. I was cold. I was married to my job. I was barren. I stayed silent, thinking that the truth would sort itself out. That was my mistake. Silence isn't a virtue when it costs you your career. The real breaking point wasn't the marriage. It was when I was passed over for a leadership position at the hospital. The board whispered about my unstable personal life. That was it. I stopped being the quiet victim. I hired Ruth Calloway, a lawyer who didn't care about politeness. She looked at me and said, "If you want to win, we have to fight in public. And they will try to use your medical history against you." I told her, let them try. Mark's lawyer made a fatal mistake. To win the defamation case, they formally argued that the infertility was entirely my fault. They opened the door. Ruth didn't hesitate. She petitioned the court for Mark's medical records from 7 years ago. A trip to the city, he had always insisted, was a waste of time. The judge granted it. The record was one line: azoospermia. Mark was biologically unable to father a child. My heart didn't race. It stopped. Everything, the whispers, the shame, the years of feeling like I was broken, was a lie. Mark knew. He had known for years. He had used me as a shield to hide his own shame. But then the math hit me. If Mark couldn't have children, then the baby boy Carol was parading around. That child wasn't his. The day of the hearing, the courtroom was packed. Carol was there, rigid. Mark looked like a man who'd seen a ghost. Paige sat in the back, and beside her sat Daniel, the man Paige had been seeing while she was pretending to be my friend. Ruth presented the facts. She didn't shout. She just read the files. The room went silent. Carol tried to interrupt, screaming, "Some women aren't built for it." But the judge silenced her. I stood up. I didn't yell. I looked at Mark and his mother and said, "You're right. Carol, someone in this marriage wasn't built to have children," but the file only ever had his name on it. The look on Mark's face as his entire reality crumbled in front of his community, that was the only justice I needed. Mark fled the state. Paige and Daniel had to face the reality of their choices in family court. I got my job back, not because I begged, but because the truth left them no choice. I'm not the woman I was 7 years ago. I stopped carrying the bags of stones that didn't belong to me. If you're being told you're the broken one, stop. Don't whisper your truth. Stand in the light, ask the hard questions, and watch the lies fall away. Subscribe if you believe in justice. And tell me in the comments, have you ever had to fight to clear your own name?